I think there are the three main strands here in Reading which led to our identifying ourselves as a potential key partner. The first strand, as Kate has referred to, is the collection of literary and publishing archives which are held here. A very rich collection which is also long established. It dates back at least to the 1970s. The second element is the research interests of faculty members here, which Steve Mython referred to, the strong interest in book history, in research in contemporary literature, not just in this country but in the English language right the way around the world, and in research which engages with literary manuscripts to open up the study of literature. And the English, French and Italian departments of this university all have strong interests in that area. So that's the second component which led Reading to think that we could lead on this network. And the third component is the research projects which are based in the university library and which focus on particularly literary manuscripts and copyright.
The setting up of 2 5-year projects at Reading University fulfilled our most ambitious dreams. In his preface to the 18th and 19th century location registers, the historian William Sinclair, writing from All Souls College, Oxford, described the work as being of immense value, which deserved the thanks of the whole scholarly and literary community. It also owed its success, he wrote, to the enthusiastic cooperation of innumerable archivists throughout the country. Central to all this work was the senior research officer, David Sutton. Under his leadership, the location registers had been, and are still being, corrected, updated and transferred online.
We were establishing a dedicated Beckett archive in the university library with material that would be acquired as we went along. In fact, over the years, our collection now has become, by an extraordinary series of developments, but mainly through a wonderful team of people, and continued here by this marvellous group of archivists and the staff here. We have become the biggest and the richest collection in the world, to my astonishment.
I've published and worked on Amelia Rosselli and Gigi Meneghello, many, and these are authors that use languages other than Italian as a means of expression in their work. Gigi Meneghello was the founder of the Italian department here at Reading. After his life-defining experience as a resistance fighter in the Second World War, came to Reading on the back of a British Council scholarship to teach Italian in the English department. And he found the time to write some of the most significant novels in the second half of the 20th century, in Italian, of course. And some of his papers are stored here in the special collections.
My specialism is in the history of children's literature and publishing in France. And I'm currently preparing a new research project on children's publishing in post-war France.
My own background is in literary criticism, which would seem to position me closer under that heading of interpretation that names our network. However, as a Caribbeanist, I've always recognised that questions around interpretation can't be cleanly extracted from those about the politics of material production and the social relations that govern not just dissemination and reception, but that question of location and ownership. In fact, the very question of existence for literary manuscripts and archives.
The University of Reading has, since 1982, held the archives of the various companies, or the various imprints now, that make up the archive of Random House UK. The working relationship between the university and the publisher nevertheless opens up significant questions about responsibility of care for the archive and its contents, and the effect that this has both on the authors whose papers are contained in the archive and the scholars who wish to look at them. And there have been instances in the past where authors or authors' estates have invoked privacy laws to prevent material being made available for research. So to go back to those 3 words that we have in the subtitle of our project, location, ownership and interpretation, what I want to suggest by way of to finish up is that those questions, location, ownership and interpretation, are ones where responsibility and control over literary papers can themselves be considered diasporic.